You ever seen a grown woman try to handcuff a SWAT instructor with pink fuzzy cuffs in broad daylight, screeching about upholding the Constitution? Because I have. That's the kind of Tuesday it turned into in my quiet little town, a place where you're more likely to get scolded for a crooked mailbox than wind up in a full-on drama worthy of daytime TV. My wife Vanessa, cool as they come, just wanted to pick up eggs and coffee creamer, minding her own business in jeans and a ball cap, her sidearm holstered, totally legal around here. But to Karen, oh man, the infamous Karen of our HOA, Vanessa was public enemy number one. The woman sprinted across the grocery parking lot, arms flailing, hollering about danger to families, and tried to slap those ridiculous cuffs on Vanessa's wrist like she was auditioning for some low-budget Law and Order spinoff. Vanessa didn't even flinch. She just turned, caught Karen's wrist mid-swing, and said real quiet, "You don't want this fight. That should have been the end of it." But Karen, no, she doubled down, yelling about citizens' arrest, brandishing her purse like a weapon, drawing a crowd of rubberneckers with cell phones out, everyone whispering and filming. Store manager comes out, takes one look, and immediately calls the police. Can't blame him. Karen drops to her knees, reciting Miranda rights to herself, all wrong, by the way, as if she's starring in her own true crime podcast. The cops roll up and you'd think it was a parade with how fast they recognize Karen. She's known for dialing 911 over everything from suspicious squirrels to teenagers playing music too loud. But today she had her eyes set on Vanessa, screaming about domestic terrorists and militia infiltration. Vanessa says nothing, just hands the officer her ID card. The officer's face goes from annoyed to pale. In a heartbeat, turns out Vanessa's the one who trains their SWAT unit. You could almost hear the collective gasp. Karen, still digging herself deeper, starts ranting about corruption, threatening to call the mayor, insisting she's uncovered a deep state conspiracy. The cop finally just shrugs and says, "Ma'am, maybe look up who trains the SWAT team." And that's when it clicks for everyone watching. Karen picked the wrong target. If only the drama ended there. But by the time we got home, Vanessa's phone was blowing up, other instructors texting saw the HOA forum, yet Karen was online raving that Vanessa had threatened her with a gun, rallying neighbors to join her community safety walk to ban open carry in our suburb. The next day, flyers went up everywhere on mailboxes, lampposts, even taped to the dog park fence with a grainy, zoomed-in photo of Vanessa and a red circle around her holster, as if she was the villain in some neighborhood whodunit. Vanessa didn't react. She just sipped her tea and said, "Time to give the SWAT boys a little field trip." That's when I realized Karen had no idea what she'd started. So here comes the twist. Karen wasn't satisfied with stirring up Facebook hysteria. She went full spectacle. That weekend, she set up a makeshift command center in her driveway, folding tables, American flag, tablecloth, karaoke mic on a stand, the whole deal. 20 neighbors showed up, some out of curiosity, most just for the entertainment. Karen paced back and forth in a windbreaker with neighborhood defense unit ironed on the back badly and started yelling into the mic about military infiltration and vigilantes in our midst. Vanessa just stood at the end of our driveway, sunglasses on, arms crossed, not saying a word. She didn't have to. The longer Karen ranted, the more everyone could see the wheels falling off her little crusade. Then Karen drops the line that'll haunt her forever: "If the police won't protect us, maybe we need to start our own patrols." And let me back up a sec. If you've never seen a crowd go from uneasy laughter to stone-cold awkward, that was the moment. By that evening, her speech had already made its way to every cop's inbox in town. Vanessa was way ahead. She filed an official complaint with the HOA board, citing harassment and impersonation of law enforcement. Karen had crossed a legal line, and Vanessa, who literally wrote half the rule book for civilian intervention, was ready. A couple days later, the board finally called an emergency meeting, and surprised Karen insisted on hosting it in her own living room, claiming the community center was compromised. She had a projector, a homemade PowerPoint with a photoshopped picture of Vanessa next to a burning tank, and a folder labeled Operation Neighborhood Liberty. I almost lost it right there. Karen went on for 15 minutes, rambling about shadow governments and tactical terror. Vanessa waited her turn, then calmly laid out the open carry laws, the restraining order paperwork, and a signed affidavit from the police captain confirming she was not just compliant, but a decorated law enforcement educator. You could see the board members' faces changing. They'd heard enough. But Karen didn't quit. She stormed out mid-meeting, leaving her folders behind, the contents just Next door comments printed in black and white. The next few days, she went wild posting videos online about deep state training and suburban militarization, complete with blurry screenshots of Vanessa in uniform. Internet trolls turned her into a meme overnight. Someone mashed her rants into a rap video. Another put her voice over penguins sliding down hills. And then the cherry on top, Vanessa booked the community center for a public safety seminar, invited law enforcement, the HOA, and every resident. Free snacks, real info, the works. Karen tried to sabotage it, warning everyone online it was a gun rally, but all that did was pack the room. Vanessa broke it down: simple de-escalation, legal limits, why citizen patrols go wrong, and a gentle warning about assuming roles you're not trained for. She even flashed a blurred-out photo of those infamous pink cuffs, got a standing ovation, and more than a few thank yous from neighbors who admitted they'd believed Karen at first. Karen didn't dare show up. She watched from behind a hedge, binoculars poking out like a cartoon villain. The vibe in the neighborhood shifted. People started bringing Vanessa cookies, asking advice, apologizing for the rumors. Even the local judge said his grandson wanted to join the police now. But Karen, she couldn't stand losing control. The next morning, a manila envelope showed up on our doorstep filled with annotated photos of Vanessa and "We're watching you" scrawled in red marker. That was it. Vanessa called in a favor, and the SWAT team rolled out their next training session right across the street from Karen's house, cones, trailers, the whole 9 yards. You should have seen it. Drills started at dawn, riot suppression, hostage extractions, all perfectly legal and right by the book. Karen lost her mind, running from window to window, finally bursting outside in a bathrobe and floppy hat, garden hose in hand, screaming about domestic military intimidation. Vanessa, in full instructor mode, never missed a beat. Her team just rotated shields, blocking Karen's little spray of water without even blinking. By midday, Karen was warning neighbors not to drink the tap water because government agents had tampered with it. Nobody listened. Word got around. Vanessa's seminar was a hit. Karen's blog was a punchline, and even her closest ally, Pamela, bailed, handing over emails showing Karen planned the whole smear campaign as a stunt to humiliate the SWAT queen. The HOA finally suspended Karen's membership, launched an audit into her misuse of funds, and filed a formal complaint for impersonating law enforcement. Karen tried to host one last exposure event in her driveway. Not a soul showed up. She packed up her table, closed her app, and just like that faded into the background. It didn't stop the paranoia, though. We started finding weird signs: cars parked down the street, late-night rustling by our gate, pamphlets in mailboxes accusing Vanessa of being a federal plant. Vanessa kept her cool, documenting everything until she finally had enough. She filed a civil harassment suit, presented every shred of evidence from flyers to late-night trespassing footage. The judge didn't hesitate. Restraining order granted Karen liable for harassment, banned from any HOA leadership for 5 years. You'd think that was the end. But one night a package appeared on our porch with a note: "You may have fooled them, but I see you." Vanessa just shook her head and said, "She's not done." For a while, Karen was a ghost house, dark blinds drawn, no more stunts. Then out of nowhere, a for sale sign popped up in her yard. No fanfare, no goodbye. She was just gone, moved 2 towns over to a place with no HOA to run. Vanessa didn't celebrate. She just went back to her seminars, her early morning coffee, her life. At a charity event weeks later, a kid walked by in a t-shirt that read "Trained by Vanessa, arrested by Karen." Everyone laughed, even the cops. That's the thing. Karen always thought power was about who yelled the loudest, who made the biggest scene. But real strength, that's standing your ground, never raising your voice and letting the truth do the work for you. Vanessa never needed to prove anything. She just stayed steady until everyone else finally saw what she'd known all along. And that's how you win. No force, no fury, just clarity. So let me ask you, after all that, whose side are you on? Was Vanessa right to keep calm and outsmart the chaos? Or should we be more worried about the Karens of the world taking things into their own hands? Tell me below, where's the line between community safety and straight-up madness? I want to hear what you think.